Time for some business news for you now. Delano D'Souza back with us. Hi there, Delano.
Good morning, Catherine.
You're going to start us off with big news for Apple, for Ireland and for European tax executives.
That's right, Catherine. The move from Apple and Ireland taking on Brussels. It comes just 4 months after the tech giant was slapped with a $14 billion back tax order. Apple was ordered to pay the amount by EU competition authorities for reporting its European profits through Ireland. This week, Ireland is expected to argue that it's perfectly legal to levy less tax on profits than other EU countries. The country will even take on Brussels for wrongly applying state aid rules, which render individual sweetheart tax deals within the bloc illegal. Apple will also be filing an appeal of its own. The company will argue that it was, quote, a convenient target because it generates lots of headlines.
Right, let's move on with a look at the markets. How have things started off this last trading week before Christmas, Delano?
Well, we are seeing a whole lot of red across the board this session. The CAC 40 here in Paris opening down 0.3%, declines on the Frankfurt DAX and the FTSE in London as well. There are also losses across the board in Asia this Monday. All the main indices in negative territory. The Nikkei in Japan closing down for the first time in 11 sessions. The Hang Seng currently trading down around 0.8%. Next, despite concerns from environmentalists, Ethiopia has inaugurated a new hydroelectric dam. It's among the biggest on the African continent and will power Ethiopia's and its neighbors' energy needs through renewable sources. Julia Seeger has the details.
Traditional dances to inaugurate the highest dam in Africa. Located some 350 kilometers south of the capital, Gib 3 reaches 243 meters in height. It's the third most powerful hydroelectric dam on the continent and is expected to produce 1,870 megawatts of electricity, enough to power the entire country and sell energy abroad. With no natural gas or oil reserves of its own, Ethiopia is banking on renewable energies to foster energy independence and economic growth.
This hydroelectric plant, along with other ongoing projects, fulfills our domestic power needs and will also provide for foreign markets. It will help us connect with neighboring countries to grow together economically, environmentally, and regionally. It will also provide us with foreign currency.
The Gib 3 dam took 9 years to build and cost €1.5 billion. 60% of the financing came from a Chinese bank, with the rest from the state. Some environmentalists and right groups, however, have warned the project could also dramatically decrease water levels downstream all the way to Kenya's Lake Turkana, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They claim the lives of hundreds of thousands of people who make their living in the Omo River Valley could also be impacted.
Let's take a look at some of the other stories we're tracking for you now. And Uber in France has filed a complaint against 3 unions after strike action resulted in violent scenes over the weekend. This Monday, Uber, along with other private chauffeur services, will meet with the French Transportation Secretary. Drivers are asking for better pay and working conditions. The largest private lender in Ukraine has been nationalized. Concerns had been raised on the state of Privatbank's balance sheet. Ukraine's government says the move was needed to preserve the stability of the country's financial system. Privatbank controls over a third of private deposits, totaling around $6 billion. And management at British Airways are eager to avoid a planned cabin crew strike. Unions had called for a walkout on Christmas Day and Boxing Day over a dispute in pay. BA will be meeting with the Unite trade union to avoid the strike this Monday.
We've just got time for one last business story. The cash crisis in Venezuela. The government, Delano, has delayed cancelling the country's biggest currency bill, its biggest banknote.
That's right. Venezuelans now have until the 2nd of January to get rid of their 100 Bolivar notes. The government of Nicolas Maduro buckled under pressure after protests broke out and shops were looted over the weekend. This after the 100 Bolivar bill was scrapped even before new notes were in circulation, creating a national cash shortage. The first batch of 500 Bolivar bills, however, arrived on Sunday after the measure had been delayed.
After having suffered sabotage, the 500 Bolivar bill The new 500 Bolivar bill should have arrived Thursday. It's arriving Sunday at 4 p.m. They could not stop it. They delayed it by 4 days, so we would not put it into circulation. And now we have it.
Thanks very much, Delano D'Souza there with the business news.